Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the follow-up video to the one I did about 8 weeks ago today. We are back on the trainer in my pain basement here and getting ready to start this ramp test. Now this is the same ramp test I did 8 weeks ago. That was on the 28th of October. This is December 23rd. Happy holidays to everybody. Hope everybody is having a good end of the year. I'm hoping I'm going to have a good end of the year here with this ramp test, which will hopefully show that my FTP has increased, my VO2 Max has increased, and my FTP has increased over the last 8 weeks. So let's go ahead and get this test started here, and then I'll talk a little bit about it, and then we'll get into all the fun. Let's do it. Let's do it on the flat route in Watopia. Why not? Nice and flat. Doesn't really matter though. It's all controlled by the trainer, but make me feel like I'm going faster. All right. So you can see, do a warm up here. I'll get through the warm up and we'll jump into the test. But same format as last time. 5-minute warm up and then progressively, minute by minute, through increasing resistance. The goal is to get as far as you can, as deep into the test as possible for as long as possible. And from there, your FTP or VO2 Max can be calculated. I'll post a link to the first video in this series down below, so you can check that out. But it's just the last video I've done on the channel here. And at that time, I got to the 300 watt level, and I stayed there for 47 seconds. And I went to Zwifthacks.com. They have a calculator that can allow you to estimate your FTP and VO2 Max. And from those numbers, my FTP from this ramp test was 237 watts. Plug that into the Zwifthacks site, and it calculated, I think it was 52.6 for VO2 Max. So that's my goal. Hoping to beat that and get a little bit higher than that. And it'll give me a good starting point for 2024, which is just a week away. So what have I been doing these last 8 weeks? Well, I've generally just been riding on Zwift quite a bit more. I was just getting back into consistent indoor cycling when I did the first test, and since then I've ridden an average of 4 to 5 hours a week on Zwift, in addition to my strength training, a little bit of rucking, walking, and some running. So I've gotten a lot more volume in the last 8 weeks, and within those 8 weeks I did, I think, 5 VO2 Max specific workouts, and then I also did a few races on Zwift. A couple of time trials, a shorter one and a longer time trial, a couple of criterium races, short crit races, which are very hard effort, followed by a little bit of rest, followed by very hard effort. So good VO2 Max training there. And then I did a hill climb on Zwift. So 3 or 4 races, 4 or 5 VO2 Max interval sessions, and then a bunch of zone 2. I took a week off a couple weeks ago. I went up and visited some family, so I didn't Zwift it all that week, but I did manage to get in a couple of short runs and a little bit of walking. And then when I got back this last Saturday, I did my longest ride on Zwift ever, a 100-kilometer group ride, so 60 miles on Zwift, and that was about 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I feel like I'm more fit. The warm-up is getting just about done here, so I'm going to go ahead and get going here. I'll cut the video back in once we get started on the initial section, and then we will see how I do. Okay, just started here, the first section, 100 watts, and every minute it goes up 10 watts. The resistance is being controlled by the smart trainer that I'm on through the game of Zwift. So it adjusts the wattage up every minute. My job is to just stay on top of the watts as much as possible for as long as possible. Going up to 120 watts. So up until about 160, 180, it's aerobic work for me. Once we get past that, then you'll notice my heart rate will start going up, breathing will go up, and we'll see what I get. What's the goal of all this, though? Well, it's just to give me a benchmark where I'm at as far as fitness. This is not an accurate VO2 Max test, an accurate FTP test within the realm of Zwift cycling, but I'm not really concerned about that. My goal is just to see if my fitness has increased objectively over time. And I do plan on doing a full lab VO2 Max test at some point in the first few months, going up again, in the first few months of 2024. And that'll be a real good lab tested, scientifically validated VO2 Max. But for now, this just gives me an idea if my training has been working. And that's the goal. I'm not looking to compete in any bike races or anything like that. My goal is just to increase fitness and aerobic ability and capacity for the long run. That centenarian decathlon that I've talked about lots. Basically, get my capacity as much as possible, as high as possible now. So with the inevitable decline that comes over time, I will still be at a higher level at the end than most people, which, all things being equal, should give me a little bit better and more vital life, deeper into life. Aerobic conditioning, VO2 max capacity has been, lots of research has shown that having a high VO2 max and good aerobic capacity is a key to living longer generally and just living better. So that's my goal. Okay, starting to get a little difficult here. I'm going to turn on my fan. There's probably going to be some wind noise, but the fun is just beginning. I'll probably stop talking here pretty soon too. But when we get done, I'll do a quick recap. I'm solidly in my zone 2 range right now. 160 to 180 watts, 120, 125 heart rate. Heart rate will start increasing here pretty consistently, probably at the next step. I can feel like I'm working right now. Muscles are warmed up. Heart rate's gone up a little bit, but no real fatigue at this point. That'll change pretty quick though. Drop a ride-on bomb here. Bang! 220. All right, getting tough. See what I can do here. That's it. I'm done. I think I made it a bit. That's 244. There you go. A little improvement. I think last time FTP was 237. So 244 is an improvement. It'll be interesting to see what the VO2 Max is. I will take a look at that. We'll do that here once it gets cooled down. But that's the FTP test. FTP's gone up. As a result, VO2 Max should have gone up a little bit. Whatever the number is, the number is. I'm not really concerned about that, how accurate it is, but it has gone up, which means I'm in better shape now than I was 8 weeks ago. So another gives me a good place to start for 2024. I will be back here once it gets cooled off, and we'll take a look at what the VO2 Max calculation is. Time for some cool down. Okay, welcome back. It is the next day. Yesterday was just too busy getting things kind of gathered together for the Christmas holiday and all that stuff. So we are back today. I'm going to do a quick analysis of the ramp test from yesterday, show you what the results are in Zwifthacks, and talk a little bit about what that means and what it can do for you if you want to do kind of a similar process to build your aerobic fitness. So let's start off by taking a look at what I did, my result from my first ramp test back on October 28th, and then we'll see what the new result is based off of my test yesterday. So here we are, a screenshot from the video, and what this shows is up here it says input last completed. I finished a 300 watt section back on the first test in October. I made it 47 seconds into the next section, which was 320. My weight, 77 kilograms, basically the same now. I might be a teeny tiny bit lighter, but not much. So using the calculation that gave the FTP of 237, which is what Zwift showed, and then however they're calculating the VO2 max comes up with a 52.4. So that was my baseline. That was what I was trying to improve upon with yesterday's test. So let's take a look at yesterday's test, the file in on the Zwift site. So basically the ride report on the Zwift site. So you see here we've got the little lightning bolt is power, the little red heart is heart rate, and you will see each one of these levels is a different 20 watt increase. So up until about 200 watts, my heart rate's about 131. I'm working, but not too bad. I get up into that 240 watt area, my heart rate starts increasing. I get up to 260, it's going up to 150. I'm kind of right at that threshold heart rate for me. I make it up to the 300, I'm still about 156, so right at the heart rate I would be like in a hard race, like a 5K race, something like that. And I get to the 300, it's starting to increase, I'm really starting to work here. I make it through the 320, which this was the level I made it 47 seconds in back in October. I made it all the way through, so a full minute there. But heart rate was getting up into the one, at the end of that, it was about 167. And then I made it, I started that next section, if you remember, at the end there, I started into that 340 watt segment, and I made it 10 seconds before I was unable to continue. So my heart rate, max heart rate was 168. Interestingly, just a little lower than back on October on the first one. I think I made it up to 175. But from an effort standpoint, I was just as cooked at the end of this one as I was in October. I can tell you that for sure. So so that's where I got. Max heart rate was 168. I maxed out at 340 watts for 10 seconds. So let's go to the Zwifthacks website, and I plugged in the numbers here. So this is yesterday's result, 320 watts. That was the section I completed completely. Then I made it 10 seconds into the unfinished segment of 340. My weight, like I said, basically the same. And that gave me an FTP estimate of 243 watts, which is what Zwift indicated. And then their calculation gives a VO2 max of 53.6. So I went from 52.4 to 53.6. So definitely an increase. Now, what does that really mean? Let's talk about that for just a little bit. So, like I said during the ramp test, it might be accurate, it might not. I don't really care. The thing I was looking for was to increase that number from one test to the other over that 8-week period. If I figure if I do the same protocol, the same test, and the number goes up using the same calculation, that means objectively I'm more fit now than I was 8 weeks ago. And that's all I was looking for. I'm not looking to win any races on Zwift or out in the real world. I'd like, I'll compete and do as good as I can, but my training now, unlike as recently as 3 or 4 years ago, my training now is focused on being as aerobically fit and strong as I can be 30 years from now. So when I'm 89, I'm 59 now, so 30 years from now, I'll be 89. My goal is to keep building my base now, get it as high as possible, because over time, there's no denying we decline. That's just the way things go. Our bodies age and things go down. But my goal is if I can start high, at the high end now, be at the very top end of people my age now, by the time I get to 89, it'll be much lower, but it's going to be at the high end of people at that age. And the result should be that I should be, all things being equal, I should be much more aerobically fit and able to maintain an active lifestyle as much as I can. So aerobic fitness, a VO2 max, combined with kind of the other pillars of health span and living a good life as long as possible into life. Those other areas are going to be good quality sleep, good nutrition, and strength and mobility. So resistance training, adding muscle mass, maintaining that muscle mass. I combine that with aerobic conditioning, and that should greatly increase the odds that you're going to be more vital and more strong a lot farther down the road or deeper into life. And that's my goal. And I think that should be really the goal for everybody at some time or another, especially as you start getting into your 40s and 50s. You really need to start looking ahead the next 40 or 50 years and doing what you can to build that base, nice wide base of fitness and strength and muscle mass that can help you handle the inevitable decline of old age. And that's my goal. And along the way, I plan to have as much fun as possible, try to increase my fitness, be competitive, enjoy life, and do all that. But my goal is to maintain a good fitness, build a good fitness base, and maintain it as long as possible. And I think using a tool like Zwift in a way to build that fitness is a great way of doing it. And I think this is a good option for a lot of people. So if you have the ability to use Zwift, an indoor bike, it's a great option, a great way to do it without a lot of wear and tear on the body. Cycling in itself is pretty easy on the body. You want to mix in running and other type of stuff, but it's indoor cycling or cycling in general is a great way to maintain aerobic fitness. And that's what I'm going to be using. So hope you found this video interesting. I certainly did, and I'm looking forward to building my fitness even more as we get into 2024, which is just around the corner. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Give us a big thumbs up if you like what you're seeing here and you want to share it with others. Thumbs up is a great way to help the algorithm get more stuff, bring more people in to what we're doing here. Leave any comments down below, and I'll try to answer as many, reply to as many of them as possible. What are you doing? What kind of program are you doing? Are you actively working to increase your VO2 max? What kind of results have you had? What's your plan for 2024 and beyond? I'd love to hear what you're doing down below in the comments. And that's about it. We're at the end of the year, so I hope everybody has a good, safe holiday season here and a great start to 2024. I might be doing a live stream at the end of this week, right before New Year's. I just realized something today about kind of a milestone that I might be able to reach on Zwift here in the next few days. So I'm thinking I'll do a live stream to have everybody who wants to join in and see me achieve this milestone, and we can have a good conversation along the way about what our plans are for 2024 and beyond. So stay tuned to the channel. If I get that figured out, I'll post a link to the upcoming live stream here in the next day or so. So stay tuned for that, and hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, be well.